and you're a samurai without a master.
That was another part of.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't know if I already gave you one. But yeah, sure, cheers.
I autistically missed the cheers.
I love this.
See, that's like, again, a part of it's like I seem like an asshole or like cold, but I just don't pick up on like.
The other big part of stand-up I learned about over the last several months was the competitiveness. Mm-hmm. And that was another thing I know now. I'm fairly self-aware. I wouldn't ever want to compete with someone who's just making me laugh. Like, it wouldn't make sense to compete with a comic to me. But, I'm not a working comic. I'm sure it changes once money's involved. But as someone who's just hung out at open mics and fucked around, it's so fun. Yeah. I wouldn't want to, be funnier than anyone. I'd want everyone to be funny. And that's not how you become successful in stand-up.
I wonder that because I have the same thing where dude, I don't enjoy going to concerts. And I play music for a living, and I don't enjoy going to concerts because the only thought I ever have when I go to concerts is, what the fuck do I have to do to be the person up there instead of the person down here?
Oh, you don't enjoy the music?
I mean, I can appreciate the music if it's a band that I know, but even then, I'm not really the type of guy who's like, oh shit, they're coming to town, let me fucking buy tickets. Like, if somebody really makes a thing of it, they're like, they know that we both like a band, and he's like, dude, they're coming to town, let's get tickets. Like, all right, I'll go. I'll buy tickets. But I've never been the type of guy to I'm not a fan of music. I like music. I like the music that I listen to, but I'm not a fan. I don't seek it out. I'm a fan of, I listen to, comedians. I'm a fan of comedy, and I can truly enjoy comedy because I'm not a fucking comedian. And so I don't go and watch Tim Dillon do a show and be like, motherfucker, that should be me up there yelling about Nancy Pelosi. No, it's just I can enjoy it as just an audience member, So I do wonder if that is the key to success, because again, I think what happens is when you constantly find yourself in that look, there's different types of success. There are people that find success by being that egotistical douchebag gatekeeper type of guy who they get a stroke of luck and then they pull the ladder up behind them. And we had a magician on my podcast a while ago, and he was talking about Yes,
I'm sorry, I love that. What?
No, he's cool. His name is Spencer Horseman. He runs the Illusions down in Fed Hill. He's a really cool dude. But my father used to always have this thing where he said, if somebody's afraid to tell you how they did it or show you the way, it's because they're afraid you can do it better than them. And so a lot of times with magic, it's this kind of once you figure out the trick, then anybody can do it. So a lot of people that are they don't necessarily deserve where they're at. They hit a stroke of luck. They knew somebody. They're successful. They're touring. But they have this constant looming fear where it's dude, if somebody else got the same opportunity I did, they'd be more successful than me. They'd take my spot. And so instead of being the type of person who's certain of themselves and be like, look, man, I'll tell you exactly how I did. I emailed. You ever talk to those type of people where it's hey, man, how'd you get that shit? I don't know, man. It's just kind of hard work. Okay, dude. Yeah, I'm sure that grinding. Yeah, it's dude, you don't want to tell me because if I knew the exact guy to email and fucking emailed him and we got a show there, we'd fucking blow you out of the water. And that's what you are worried about. So instead, you want to be the guy that's well, I got the show. Good luck. You know what I'm saying?
That's unfortunate. I think that's stifling the creativity.
Yeah.
I think I that's the biggest thing I hope I never lose. I love going to stand-up shows. I love going to open mics. I will sit there and watch every fucking comic. I love open mic, the bad comics, the good comics. I love every single moment of it. And that's one of those things where people will be like, you still like comedy? Mm-hmm. You still like this? And I'm like, yeah, I fucking love comedy. Why would I want to be a comedian if I wasn't here to laugh and just goof off? And the Baltimore comedy scene is so they're so serious. And it's just dude, you signed up to be a fucking clown.
Yeah.
You are here to tell jokes. Stop. It's not that deep. And it's nobody wants to book you if you're being a douchebag. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to hang out with you if you are super negative like that. And it's so much about getting booked on shows, and so much about all of the networking is about just being a chill, cool person. And it's these people come in with just this negative energy, and it's what are you doing?
Yeah.
You literally signed up for the dumbest fucking job. This is second to being a fucking rodeo clown.
Yeah.
I feel like being a rodeo clown might be a little bit more satisfying.
I think
the costume would be better.
It would be fun. You get to hang out with some animals. There's cowboys. That's always fun. Cool hats,
Chaps.
boots.
I think that
Yes.
real comedians need to take back the Baltimore scene because it seems overrun by theater kids to me. And it's just like very much evident. Just like it seems like a high school drama club type of thing.
No,
but
no.
literally drama club.
Let me rephrase that. It's a bunch of kids that bullied the theater kids, even though they wanted to be theater kids,
Oh,
low key.
so it's-
like they were like, "You have all this attention, but you're a fucking nerd." And now they're the fucking nerds, and they're still trying to be all big and bad, even though they're doing the same thing they bullied
Yeah.
other kids for. That's the energy that I see from these guys, because it's just like, and I say these guys because it's not the fucking women in the Baltimore comedy scene. This is that's why Zizmos is such a safe place, because it's so female ran that like
One thing I will say about Zizimos though is that I made one joke there, and then a certain somebody in the audience says, "What the fuck?" She's like, "Am I gonna have to cancel Sam Kelly?" And I'm like, I'm literally on disability for bipolar. I lost my children. I'm on probation. I should be getting food stamps. Like, I am not far from privileged besides my skin color. And you want to cancel me over my free speech when I was just talking about my own life.
Yeah, if I was off mic, I could rattle off a couple females in the scene that I think are gatekeeper. Could I see the letter, by the way?
But I still adore Zizimos, and I understand that they are trying, and I love the club. I love what Michael Furr's done with it, and I get it. Like,
Michael
something like that
Furr,
has to exist.
He's amazing.
And that's one of those
I do
things
love
where it's
Michael
like, I am still so new to the scene. Like, I've only been in here for a year. So, like, when I'm meeting people and everything, like, I'm meeting them now. I'm meeting post-COVID everybody. I have no idea who everybody was before the pandemic, but I've been told that is where all of the like fuck shit happened. So now when I'm like friends with people and then like I hear shit about it, I'm like, what happened? And I'm like, that was 4 years ago. Go fuck
Yeah,
yourself.
because COVID really was a reset for the scene, a global reset, some might say. But like
No,
it really,
just for comedy.
yeah, it did kind of reset the scene where anybody who was just kind of doing it for fun, like you could just kind of tell like who was just like, the second they got an opportunity to like step out of the matrix, they were like, I don't know if I'd want to go back in that matrix, and it's like, so a lot of the people, there is a new roster of people that I'm not as familiar with because I was much more familiar with the scene pre-COVID, when we first, but
Yeah, unfortunately, like I'm trying to appreciate more like actually having friends and enjoying the laughter and everything like that. But in my heart of hearts, like I know that I'm never gonna be fucking happy unless I ever manifest something from this. Like, and I want to just appreciate for what it is. And it's like I'm not trying to have an ego about it or anything. It's just like comedy has like haunted me for the past like 4 years when I wasn't doing it, and I couldn't even watch a comedy special. Without like bursting into tears and being why isn't that me? Like,
you kind of got to recalibrate your expectation. Like
Right,
they
like
say, like
rebalance,
happiness is
like-
when expectations meets reality. And
Yeah,
that's not a argument for, just don't ever expect anything and then you'll always be happy. Because obviously you
Right.
want to set goals. But I think the problem with a lot of performers, including myself, is we have these kind of ideas of, I want to be successful. But very few people ever take the time to sit down and actually define what that means. Like what would be, and then what happens is you wind up becoming in the scenario like with the true greats of all time. Like in sports, you look at like Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, people like that. When all they know is just to fucking dominate, and they can't even fathom the idea that it's like their time is done. I'm not saying Tom Brady's time is done, but I'm saying that like, because the thing with Tom Brady is like he's still like a top 15 quarterback, and like people are like he's washed up, he should retire. It's like, okay, so should the other 16 quarterbacks that aren't as good as him that are 23 also retire? Like, just because he's not the greatest of all time anymore doesn't mean he can't play in the NFL.
but isn't he literally the greatest? I know nothing about
He's
football.
the
by the
literal
way.
greatest quarterback.
We
of
know
all
stuff
time.
about Quidditch.
But
It's the only sport.
There was a debate 8 years ago. The debate is over.
Yeah.
But at this point, like, I wouldn't want him to quit for like his career, because that's amazing. Like, his career has been amazing, but for his health, like, I mean, when you're in your 40s playing football, it's not the same as the guys in their 20s playing football. I wouldn't want him to retire. I mean, like, if he was in his 20s, but now it's just like, buddy, you're gonna fucking kill yourself doing this.
No,
and
he
it's like
never
it's
gets
so
hit.
it's
Yeah, well, that's true. There's some. I would look
but
at
the
it more
training
from
is still a lot too.
the family aspect. It's like
Yeah.
you get to a certain point. It's like you're 42 years old. It's like, and then it's like you got to start weighing out the options. Like, okay, do I want to spend the rest of my children's childhoods with them, or do I want to spend the next 5 years still being on the road and never really? It's like those are like grown man decisions that he has to make, and I'm not gonna sit there and be like I have the answers for him. I guess what I was getting at is like if you have never sat down and actually given yourself a clearly defined idea of what it would mean to be successful, then you're never gonna feel like you're successful, and you're never gonna be happy. Because if you really zoomed out and looked at your progression from when you were starting. I remember starting out when I was 19 years old and walking down the streets of Fells Point with a CD and giving it to these bartenders and be like, hey, can you listen to this? Can you let me play here? And never getting calls back. And now all of a sudden, I got to a point where it was like, now I'm playing at every bar in Fells Point. But I don't see that as success, because now that's just the norm. It's like I expect to be booked at Admiral's Cup and the Horse and fucking all these Riptide and all these fucking places. It's not even a question, So it's like, because of that, it's like if you never take the time to be like, okay, if you didn't have a clearly defined idea of like in 3 years, I want to be able to get any gig in Baltimore, any bar gig that I want to be able to get that. And it's like, if you can then look at that and be like, oh, see, look, 19-year-old me would look at 25-year-old me and be like, oh, wow, you were successful. But because you never did that, now you're just stuck in the zone where that's just the new normal. And now you're just as unhappy as you were when you were 19, except on a different level. So now the next thing is what's going to make you happy. And then guess what? You get that, and then you go, well, and then you're not happy then either. And then that's why you keep going and keep going. You're never fucking happy because you never actually found out for yourself what it actually means to be happy.
No, I love that. That's 100% it. Cause like, dude, 19-year-old me would kill to be 23-year-old me. Like 19-year-old me would be so happy. And it's like, yeah, I'm only getting booked a few times. I'm doing open mics, but it's like, this is where I wanted to be. This is exactly what I wanted. So it's just like, I do feel a lot of like, that's a big thing that I practice. Like it's a lot of just gratitude, because it's like, you cannot be happy if you're constantly just like not looking at what you already have. Mm-hmm. Like I love the fact that I can go to Fresh Market and buy my groceries. I have a house. I am like thriving. And it's like that. I'm grateful for that. So it's just like, okay, I have achieved a goal that I needed to achieve. And it's just like the next goal I achieve is going to feel great too. But like this one feels good. So it's like, I think that a lot of people lose that because they're so focused on like, oh my God, what if I fail? And it's like,
if you fail, you're just already already a loser.
Yeah, you spend your whole life just being scared of failing, and then like you look back and you're like, I wasn't happy for a single fucking moment of that.
Yeah.
And like I just never want to be like that.
Whose idea of failing? Like most of us, when we walk out of the house, we think, what are they going to think about me, and how can I make more money?
Yeah.
Most people in this country, especially, our first couple of thoughts. That's why everyone seems stupid. Our brains aren't doing anything anymore.
Yeah.
We're just looking at each other and going, fuck, they got that car. I got to get that car.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like in such a rapid way. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because you can get famous. I don't want to shit on podcasts or anything on one. But like from doing this, like people have made millions of dollars from like kicking it. And like, we're going to record it with headphones on.
Yeah.
And I think that's like, fucking sick. Well, I think it's amazing. What a time to be alive.
It's cool it can be done. But the flip side of it being cool that it can be done is in the wrong hands. Like people who aren't productive. Society works because we are making it work.
Well,
so if we're just making shit
we
work
have a choice,
for ourselves,
though. It's just gonna keep going.
You need to find your and that's a good. I'm glad you said that, because that was kind of what I was gonna say as an argument for you to maybe continue pursuing for two reasons. Not even necessarily the word pursuing is the wrong word to use, but just now that you've stepped out and you have your life kind of like you're happy with where you're at. You might find that this might be the best time to actually truly enjoy playing music again and doing comedy, because you're no longer in it for that seeking validation. It's just something you enjoy doing.
I 100% agree.
So the validation seeking wasn't there to begin with, which is why I was hesitant. Because something I knew about stand-up was you had to have that, like, that was funny, right? Or like, you had to want the reaction. And not that like I'm above anyone, but I just don't think about that. Like, if something is shitty in my life, it's my fault. I'm a single dude with no kids, so it's easy for me to say that. But it's true.
Not a lot of people to blame. Yeah,
you know what I mean. So what I learned with the stand up is I started writing a lot more, And I do want to pursue it, just not the being on stage part. Not now, anyway.
Yeah.
When I was in a band, I used to tell people I wanted to be Chad from the Neptunes, Chad and Pharrell.
Yeah.
And most people would go, who the fuck is Chad? And I'm like, exactly. So if I could contribute and like get the check, but I could still go to Giant, perfect scenario. And I think comedy, I wish I would have found it earlier, but I think this is where the writing works. And meeting people like Sam and people at Zissimo's, Michael Furr and Darnell Fuson, those guys, like behind the scenes, I'm totally cool with that.
Because I mean, like, if you do, like, because that's what I want. I want to be a writer and a producer. I don't want to be a stand-up comedian. I don't want to be in front of the camera. I don't want to be an actress or even really a voice actress at all. So, like, for me, my version
I don't understand that, though, because you're so marketable. Like, I'm just like, you're hilarious. Like, you're set and you're, like, beautiful. Like, so it's hard to see, like, that. When
I know,
when
and
look
I
at you
just,
and I'm like, you could fucking make it.
I just want to hide.
6 months.
But my thing is, I want to use that as I can for marketing and, you know, climbing up a little bit. But I'm really only doing stand-up to find out what's funny, what's organically funny. Because when you're alone on stage with a microphone, it's just you. Like, there's no situational humor. There's nothing. So you really learn what is actually funny. And I try so hard to keep my material to where it can be versatile so that I can write for other comedians one day in the future. But, like, I don't want to be a stand-up comedian like John Mulaney. I love John Mulaney. I don't want to be Richard Pryor. I don't want to be George Carlin. I don't really want to be anybody's voice. I don't want to be a voice for feminism. I don't want to be an anti-feminist voice. I don't want to do any of that. I just want to be funny. So, like, for me going to open mics and going to shows, it's goofy and it's silly because it's like I'm literally just focusing on what works and what doesn't. I don't really care about climbing to the top and being like, oh, I booked this 20-minute set. I would fucking kill myself. I don't want to do a 20-minute set. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, no, I just, like, I want my stuff to work and that's it. So, like, stand-up is really just kind of what I'm doing until I get to what I want to do. And it's a good way to just learn. And I think that,
Can I be like overly deep and pretentious for a minute?
course.
Sorry, it's just,
yes.
So, well, just climbing to the top and stand up for me is, I look at comedy like my version of shamanism, which is really weird, but I want to take people to their shadows, to my shadows. I'm sorry. And so that was a good, I'm so sorry. Like, yeah, I feel so fucking stupid talking about this, but
No, don't feel stupid. Don't say that.
Like, it's like so egocentric of me, but it's not necessarily about fame or anything. It's just, I need to banish the darkness within myself and somehow heal other people through it.
I think that's perfect. And I don't think you should I don't think at all that you should feel any kind of negativity about wanting to be on camera because you are a good person. And I think if you have good vibes and you're like wanting to put positive stuff, or I mean, even just really, it doesn't necessarily have to be positive. It doesn't, but like, wanting to be a stand-up comic and wanting to be on stage doesn't make you like ego. It doesn't make you bad. You're not a cult leader. You just want to be funny on stage. It'll be fun. And like, I think that's a great goal for you to have. I think you should want to climb up to the top of that. Like, I think it's just like,
and again, it's like what you guys were saying is just like, what does success mean to you? It's like living isolated like I did for a couple years. It's like I realized success is that local, is, you know, your little patch of earth that you're around, is spreading light where you can, is being, you know, seen, and and is having a community and a tribe. And
exactly. And I think the comedy scene, as flawed as it is, I love it. I fucking love it.
Oh, I love the toxicity. I feed off of it.
Exactly. I was talking to another comic earlier today, and I was like, at the end of the day, all of the drama, all the bullshit, it's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Dude,
yeah, it's
I
fun.
threw a chair at a man. I spat in a dude's face.
Fuck yeah,
like, that's
punk
not
rock.
even fucking real. Like, but that's real. That's real life. And that's like what happens. It's fucking crazy. Like, and it's all so fucking stupid that you kind of just have to take a step back and laugh and be like, yeah, this is just a bunch of people telling jokes, but we're the worst. We're the worst.
Yeah, we take it so seriously.
Exactly. And then we're like, why is the scene so toxic? Baby, it's us.
true.
Two things I wanted to say. One, I wanted to kind of bring it back to the vampire idea. Of course,
Yeah, we got him.
of course.
And I don't know what time it is. Like, I know you're trying to get to a mic. I'm sorry. Like,
Oh no, dude! Nottingham's is at 9:30. I'm good. I'm chilling.
As the world's worst producer, I've decided after 1.5 hours we should talk on topic. But
Can I have the lighter while we talk on topic?
the first thing I wanted to say before I got to that though was in the sense of like,
Oh yeah, she wants lighter.
oh yeah,
Sorry.
the fulfillment. Oh, can I get another one of those too, please? I'm vampiring your cigarettes. The sense of like the problem with a lot of, and I'll need that lighter back in a second too. Just a heads up. The problem with what was I gonna say? Oh, a lot of modern. This is like the big, like, you know, like if you're like anti, which I like. I'm a capitalist, but I fuck with capitalism. I like
Sexy thing you've said all day. Go back to narrating Twilight.
like I've always liked the idea of you know, if you gave me an even playing field, then I would find a way to succeed. I've always thought that there was a sense of like, I think for people that don't necessarily like that idea, and this is just my opinion, that like there's a certain element of like when you talk about like with people in the scene, and for instance like that, like talking about the vampirism of it, where it's like if there are certain people who want to breathe life into the scene and make it a better scene, and if that means that like other comedians are also finding success or whatever, and there's other people that if they can't rise to the top, then they want to make the top come down to them, and so they spend their time sucking the energy out of the fucking thing, where it's like their way of rising to the top is by bringing everyone else down. That's the kind of like vampirism I was talking about. The reason I actually brought up communism and capitalism is because I talk about like a lot of just in the way society is set up with like the differentiation of jobs, where like a lot of people in our day-to-day lives, if you work a desk job or something like that, you don't actually have a real attachment to your own personal fulfillment or the thing you're actually building. Like they always say, like if you either spend your time building your own dream or you spend your time building someone else's. And a lot of times when you're working at a company like that, it's like that was somebody else's vision. Somebody else had the ego or whatever to be like, dude, I'm gonna fucking do this thing and I'm gonna hire some people to fucking do it. And now you have a job, but that's not your thing. I mean, if it's something you're also interested in, you feel a part of, that's great. But a lot of people don't. A lot of people are just like, well, this is the people that pay me the most. So it's like, then you're doing that and you're like, you're doing this thing that because we're raised in this society that tells us that happiness equals the most money you can possibly make or anything like that, then people follow that path. They go down that path and they get to a certain point where they realize like, okay, I have the job. I went to the school I was told I wanted to go to. I got the money that I was told that would make me happy, and I'm not happy, you know? And so people kind of need like a sense of like, I get envious of Cro-Magnon fucking men, dude, because like, it's like, dude, if this
what's a Cro-Magnon?
like fucking cavemen and shit, dude.
Oh, okay,
it's like, dude, if I was a fucking caveman, I feel like it was pretty cut and dry. It's like, are my kids eating? Is my wife eating? Is my fucking tribe eating? Like, if these guys fuck with us, they're getting the fuck out of here. That buffalo rolls through here, it's fucking on site, dog. Like, you know,
For
what I'm
women,
saying?
it was very dry because we were being raped constantly.
Well, yeah, but apparently, according to Twilight and 365 and 50 Shades, you guys are into that shit. So I don't fucking know.
Getting raped and gathering berries. But I think a lot of that is like, I think a lot of it is like people confuse
Raper
happiness
gatherers.
with security. You know, like, yeah, you're secure, but you're not happy. And I think that like when you reword it all, like, yeah, you want to go to college and get a good career and you want to take care of your family. That's security. That's not necessarily happiness. And like, yeah, they can go in together, but they don't necessarily like equal each other. And I think that a lot of times people just think like, oh, my security, that's going to be my happiness. And then you miss that that's a whole different emotion. It's a whole different part of your soul. It's a whole different part of your life. And it's like, I don't know. I would take being broke so I could be happy. Just, I mean, anything so I don't have to fucking like want to kill myself. I'm already on 100 milligrams of Zoloft a day. Like, let me live.
No, that was just my argument for why it, you know, these pursuits of artistic pursuit, because in a lot of ways, even if you're not, if you are, look, the true kind of falling out with artistry for a lot of people is you do something enough. You do something you love enough that you start to hate it, and you start
In relationships also.
you start to hate shit when you have, like, I have to rely on music for rent, and that changes my that changes my attitude about it. Because when I started the idea of I want to play music, I want to be a professional musician, it's like, well, I had kind of the same idea that everybody else has when I want to be music. I want to be this fucking big time fucking guy, you know? And then it's like, oh wait, actually my job is to show up to any given bar in Maryland and fucking play and shit like that. And it's like, then all of a sudden you become like disillusioned with it, disenchanted with it, and it kind of like ruins your whole thing. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, if you don't have to rely on your art for security and you can strictly approach it from the validation part, it's like, that's an important thing. That's not an ego thing. It's like, dude, look, I have a job. I have the things that I'm supposed to have, but guess what? Just like you, I'm not happy. And that's why you're also here. You're also in the audience because you're not fully fulfilled by your, I'm not saying that you're not fulfilled, but like, you are seeking something, and I'm also willing to give something because like, and now I can truly enjoy it as a thing, as opposed to being like, well, I'm here because if I'm not here, I don't eat tomorrow. You know, it's
You're a part of the fulfillment, and it's
Yes.
rewarding. That is the rewarding part for sure. And like, I'm grateful that I don't have to make my money from stand up. And I think that's a lot of where a lot of people get pressed about it, where they're like, I need to be booking every single show. If you don't book me at some Irish pub in Silver Spring that I'm not saying the name of or the name of the show of, I'm going to fucking kill myself. And it's like, dude.
I would be totally fine like being completely poor vagabond stand up if my family weren't looking at me like I'm a total failure because of it. Especially being a mom, but I'd be totally fine. Like
if I didn't have a supportive baby daddy, I would fucking like, I would not be a stand-up comedian. There is no way. No, like if I like had to pick kids over career, obviously kids come first, but like this is where the cards have played me. So I'm like, all right.
But it's like I'm only getting every other weekend. Like he's getting sole custody. So it's like basically it's like if I don't succeed or if I don't make anything of this, like what am I doing with my life?
I have had those feelings too.
Like,
he only has sole custody right now. Just remember that, because like it'll be fine. But doing this as a creative outlet is going to make you happier just as a person. And like when you do get your sole custody back, you're going to be just fucking on it. You're going to be so ready, just both ways dynamic. I'm ready for that. I got all like horoscope. I do divination, so that's my whole thing. So
yes.
Hey.
Oh my god. Okay. Sorry. Can we like get into that? Can we get into?
I go,
some
what? Yeah,
divination?
let's do it.
Let's get divine, baby.
Yes.
What is your sun sign? And I mean, you can tell me all your placements if you want.
I'm a Pisces sun.
Oh,
and a
okay.
Taurus rising.
Oh shit.
And a Leo moon.
Okay.
Chaos.
Yes.
Chaos. I am like all
All
fire
of us have a
and
Leo
water.
placement here. Yeah.
Really?
I think a
What's
lot
your
of
Leo
people like
placement?
entertainment.
I like how Chris and I are just like, that sounds chaos. I don't know.
Okay.
I want to be a sign
very
language
familiar.
interpreter.
Oh, you know it?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Then
So-
I'm the only one. I'm
so
the only
my-
toxic male in here.
My sun sign is Pisces, and it's a really sensitive, daydreamy, like
Okay.
disillusioned sign. It's just
Kurt
very.
Cobain was
that's-
Pisces. That's why I think he might have actually killed himself.
Honestly,
Disillusioned
maybe.
artist.
But there is that Pisces thing where it's like, but what could happen tomorrow? Like, I mean, there is a Pisces daydreamy thing where it's just like, it keeps you just hopelessly optimistic. But then Leo, your moon sign is like your like love and your communication and just how you vibe with other people. And I'm a Leo, so I'm a very dominant, fiery energy person.
All right. So what does I know this. I know that I am a Leo regular.
Okay.
I'm a Leo.
Okay.
But my moon is Virgo. I know
Okay.
that.
So Virgos are really stubborn, but also very practical signs.
Yeah.
So that means that like it, depending on the rest of your stuff too, because I mean like your Mercury and your Venus will also go in with that. But like in general, you try to separate emotions from like your brain, like heart and brain are on different wavelengths, but they're working together because you can think about things rationally with your heart. Not everybody has that, so it's just like a little chaotic, and like you maybe would have issues with somebody who
I
like,
thought that was autism.
well, I mean, it can work together, but yeah, it's just like one of those things where it's just like you're so rational and grounded that you're like, why are you being crazy right now? Calm down.
But that's like a contrast between the Leo's sun that like is like larger than like
Yes, very. The Leo sun honestly makes sense with you being a musician because Leo people are very, very. What do we want to say?
Well, I'm a Leo rising.
Okay,
so it's like,
you're Leo rising.
We're all
I'm Leo
Leos.
moon.
Yeah, so it's
Just almost obnoxious, right? Like, let's say obnoxious, fiery, like,
But see, the thing
let's
is,
get stuff done.
right. The thing is beautiful, but also, about Leos, and I have a lot of friends that are Leo's sun who are like comics, is that like they want the whole world or whatever to revolve around them like the sun, but if you let that happen, they will shed so much light and warmth on you back, and
Mine was Sun Aquarius, Moon Aries.
But you are
Yeah.
a Leo's. Wait, you're an Aquarius.
yeah,
like,
he's an Aquarius.
Aquarius.
Yeah,
Aquarius regular.
yeah.
Aquarius regular.
I'm just very dressed down today.
Yeah, and Aries moon. Yeah, we have the same placements, and that it's like constantly at odds. Like the Aries moon is the part that's like constantly like has to have like a fight going on. Like even if it's just
don't
like
know,
battling
that's
your
all
own
right.
like inner demons, you have to
Yeah,
I stop fights.
I think my Leo moon is just like why I'm like a horny, ravenous animal all the time. It's just like I'm a little lion. I don't know. That's how it is. It's like, what are you sexually? A lion.
Female lions are badass. 'Cause,
Lionesses,
like, they do
yeah.
all the work.
Protecting
fucking do it
protecting
up.
the throat, raising the babies,
Yes.
killing the men. It explains why I'm so feisty. It all makes sense. It all lines up. Once people read my star chart, they're like, yeah, all right. The Taurus rising, especially, because like Tauruses are bratty. Every time I meet a Taurus sun, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, I love Taurus women, not so much the men, but yeah, it's like the planet of love and beauty.
I love that astrology is the last surviving true form of discrimination. That you can still
Yes!
totally get away with stereoptyping people.
I call it
and just
critical
be like,
space
Those
theory.
fucking
Oh,
Scorpios.
it's just like, dude, you were born this, and that's just what you
It is.
are, baby.
It's the last acceptable form of bigotry.
I love it. That's a good, better way of putting it.
Agreed.
It's
That and the
last
Irish.
acceptable form- That and the Irish.
That and the
You
Irish.
can still fuck with the Irish, and I love that.
That leprechaun still on that cereal. I don't see Uncle
And the
Ben.
Notre Dame helmet. They love it.
Fighting Irish.
That's my problem is I have fucking Irish luck. But
Yeah.
like again, like we fell out because of a potato famine. Like
Yeah, which is like the most high in calorie food. It's like, Jesus Christ, guys.
Wasn't that really just like
England
English
taking their
England?
shit.
Yeah, that was,
Imperialism.
I read about that like recently, and it changed my whole life. And I was like, well, not my whole life, but it was like, oh my god, what capitalism, Jimmy?
Hey, look at my imperialism.
What'd you
baby.
do? What'd you do to Ireland?
I remember that from 6th grade fucking social studies. I think all my
Your
like
teachers taught you stuff.
my dumb like weird random information about history, science, how the world works ends around 1998, 99.
98, yeah.
Mine
99.
ends at Middle Earth.
Dude, like photosynthesis, I understand how plants make food.
Yeah, and that
But,
started
like,
around 97.
Once
Plants
it
started
got
doing
into
that.
like in math, I remember algebra, looking at that the first time. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Throwing the letters. I was already barely making it.
Yeah.
For my algebra, like end of course exam, I put C down for every single one, and I still passed.
Nice.
And then, like, when I
Smart.
got to the next grade and I was failing algebra 2 so hard, I had no idea what was going on. My guidance counselor was like, you passed your end of course exam. And I had to be like, listen. I put C down for everyone, and then I took a nap. And she was like, I made every single fucking teacher sigh like that. But it's just like, yeah, no, algebra is fucking stupid. I haven't used it. Not in my profession, thank God. But I feel like if you're inclined for it, you'll succeed in it and it'll work out for you. But if you're not, I'm not that pressed about it. I'm not that pressed that I'm bad at math. I'm like, could be worse.
In Europe, once you hit the age of what here would be 9th grade, you go to a vocational school. And you have to at least do a year there. So if you're after 8th grade, like I kind of like cars, you'll go to high school, but half the day you go work at an auto shop.
Yeah. And that's
then
fucking awesome.
What would you guys have picked?
The next year you could change. The next year, yeah. I would have probably been in theater,
I think
but
that.
I played sports. I didn't realize I was.
Would you play?
flamboyant
You
till
play
later.
football, probably.
Not like we didn't have money. Like I
Yeah.
played a lot of basketball.
Okay.
I played Little League from T-ball. We called it Babe Ruth League. I was like 11, 12. But I hated it. I wanted to play basketball, but my folks were like, no, you're not black. No.
Yeah.
My
You're
parents
like,
wouldn't
right.
even let me watch basketball because black people were on it.
Really?
Yo, so my dad was like this Colorado
hilarious.
fucking hillbilly who was raised by Missouri people in the South. So yeah, no, like basketball completely eludes me, and I'm just like, I wasn't allowed to watch it. And when I tell people that, they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, literally that. My dad loved football though, so I guess the racism didn't just like,
Yeah.
because I'm like, dude, what?
He loved the
They were more
Broncos.
covered up.
Not a big fan of the Nuggets.
He loved the Broncos, but like I always wanted to live in Baltimore. I always wanted that. So I was like, in middle school, I'd be like, Dad, I'm a Ravens fan, because he was a huge Broncos fan. And then like when Ray Rice, all that stuff happened, he was like, look at the Ravens. And I was like, what? So that was like the only time I've ever seen him be racist with football, but basketball, no, my God. And the Kardashians, he didn't hate the Kardashians, he just hated that they dated and married black men. He was like, it's fine that you look like an off-brand Kardashian, but I swear to fucking God, if you go find a 7-foot tall black man.
I love that you could be open about, because I feel like everybody's like, at least everybody's parents are like, it was a different time. Like the low level of racism that existed for when they came up, it was like, it's normal on every side. It's like you talk to like an older black guy, it's like, man, I don't trust Whitey. It's like they just fucking
The
don't.
only black woman allowed in my grandmother's house was Aunt Jemima. But that bitch died from diabetes. She got her comeuppance.
I saved the last Aunt Jemima thing when I got a pancake.
I still have one too.
God bless you.
I also
And it's right
have
next to my Paula Deen cookbook.
What the fuck?
mine is right next to Mrs. Butterworth, just in case.
See, I don't
Just in
have
case.
anything
Butterworth
from
thing.
Aunt Jemima, but I do. When COVID hit, Waffle House started selling like bags of their waffle mix, and I was moving from the South, and I didn't know if there was going to be a Waffle House up here. There is like 45 minutes away from my house in the middle of fucking nowhere, but like I got Waffle House like waffle mix, and I spent I think like $40 on it. But I was like, this is the South, this is the piece.
Every time you cook, you get a stool thrown at you or something like that.
No, I'm scared to open it because I'm like, this is going to be historic one day.
Yeah.
I can't make fun of Waffle House too much because I'm probably going to wind up applying there soon. So.
Hey, I mean, there you go.
No. Do Red Robin. You won't make any money at Waffle. No, you got to think about the amount that the checks are going to be.
Yeah.
Because like even if
amount.
somebody's tipping 20% on a Waffle House bill, they're
Which
tipping
they're
you
not.
20% on $11. Best case scenario, you're getting $2. Don't do that to yourself. Pick like one of those fucking stupid chains that does all the appetizers that are $15 each. Do a $15 burger. You know, even if you rank in 15%, you're still making more than you would at Waffle House.
I might push back on that and simply say that my favorite experiences working in the restaurant industry, which I did for a while, have always been the places that are not. I worked at Cheesecake Factory that was super corporate. And the problem there is you don't have any actual intrinsic value as an employee. You're super replaceable. They're very by the book. They don't give you any type. Like when you work at like a place that's like owned by a dude and you know the dude, it's like you're more valued as a person. You can kind of get away with more shit because it's like they're like at Cheesecake, they'd be like, so the table did this and you did that. And I'm like, yeah, well, they were saying this. I was like, well, that's this offense and blah, blah, blah. If you work at like for a guy, some guy who like comes in once a week, it's like, what's everybody doing? Blah, blah, blah. You work for that guy. You're like, well, they do this. Like, well, fuck them. Yeah. It's like you have a little bit for a person like you. I think you would thrive more in a place where people could actually value you as a person you are as opposed to a name on a paper.
Yeah, just make sure you know it, because like a lot of times with those like the family run restaurants, they're either really dope or really fucking bad.
Oh yeah. If you're working for somebody's cokehead son, it's not a great type of scenario.
I totally
Or
get along
somebody
with them
who
because,
never
like,
worked in the restaurant industry before they open their restaurant.
Yeah,
They have no
yeah.
business being there. Like that person doesn't need to be your
I
boss.
work for Joe Biden. He's got a cokehead son.
Also, the worst types of people tend to gravitate towards corporate restaurants because they know they can get away with shit. Like they know that like if they walk into TGI Fridays, they could be like, my fucking thing wasn't done, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, they'll like give you the full check off. But if you go into like somebody's actual restaurant that like owns it, they'll be like, what the fuck was wrong with it? And so like they stand up for you more. And the people that don't tip, the people that aren't ideal clientele, they avoid those places. And so you're more likely to get desirable clientele when you don't work for a place that caters to them, dude.
If you want to hunt for energy vampires, the regional managers of chain restaurants.
Oh my fucking god!
Yes, that is true.
Yes, the truest.
By
thing
like
I
2,
said.
they're manipulating.
Yeah.
They're
They're
already masters
so
of manipulating.
ominously positive. They're just like the scariest dude. And like I think, did you guys watch Superstore?
No.
And oh man, okay, that's something you need. It's amazing. But like they have like the regional manager, and they make him perfect because he is so like everything's perfect, everything's great, and just like vague with all the answers. If you have any actual questions, they're like, go to somebody else, call this person, go do this. And like there is some security in chain restaurants where if you fly under the radar, you can make a lot of money. Just don't rough any. It's so good. But then like if you have an actual personality while you're there, you ruffle so many feathers that they're like, goodbye.
Yeah, you won't. I mean, they are like the closest thing we get to politicians on the working class level. Like the GMs at Cheesecake Factory pull in easy 6 figures. I mean, they really do. They're making like $100,000 a year. They get a free BMW the second they get the GM
God
position.
damn.
It's like they get hooked up.
Do you get
but
a
it's
free
like,
BBW where you get to fuck a fat chick?
oh, well, you get unlimited hostesses for the rest of your life. I mean, that's a pretty good deal.
Also, if you're at the Cheesecake Factory, you get as many fat ladies as you want.
Yes,
Oh,
and
yeah,
as much
there's no-
cheesecake.
Toss out a couple gift cards, see what comes back to you. The gift that keeps on giving, you know. It's like one of those type of deals. But no, it really is like those. You learn from a very short time period. So like these are the worst people. I got yelled at so many times from those motherfuckers, and then like years down the road, I'm like, yeah, it turns out he was like fucking one of the hostesses in the office, or like he was stealing money from the fucking thing. And it's like that motherfucker yelled at me because I took too long to run out of mozzarella sticks. Like, bro, you were stealing and fucking in the office, and you're getting on my. It's like you have to literally be detached from reality to rise up in those ranks, because they are looking for just people to just buy the book, just like what a politician is. It's like the ideal politician. What the parties are looking for is like a guy who's just going to go up there, toe the line, not ruffle any feathers. Hey, this is the party platform. This is how you're supposed to think about this. This is what you're supposed to say about this. And they go up there and like a fucking soulless fucking zombie just go, and we believe blah blah. Let me be clear. That's like the token phrase of every fucking. I don't know why they love that one. Let me be clear. It's like you're not being clear at all, bro. You're fucking not saying dick.
Let me be clear, and then say the most vague thing you've ever heard in your life. It's vague, but you can't argue it.
But yeah, I mean, I recently got fired from Barks, which was an extremely liberal organization with gender fluid people, girls with blue hair and tattoos, child-free
don't
people
say.
that call
Jessica.
children crotch goblins, but will rescue like a fucking rabid pit bull off the streets of Baltimore. Like I got
not-
fired from there.
The breed. It's the. Oh, that's my
It's
favorite
toxic
type of people.
positivity all around. It's like when
Yeah.
you go into Lush and everybody's too nice to you, and you're like, get the fuck away from me.
It's soap, guys. Calm down.
That's become a
Literally.
red flag for me in dating. If a woman's like, "Oh my god, my fucking dog's the best," I'm like, "No."
I'll fuck with dogs.
You
to
gave
be
up.
honest.
You gave up on people.
Hot take about animal lovers. Whenever I hear somebody say, "Oh man,
Animal lovers. There's got to be a different way to say that.
I
Was I the only
I'm thinking about
one?
the ancient Greek way.
Furries.
Thinking in Zeus ways. No, whenever
Avid pet owner.
His name is literally Zeus. They call it Zoophilia.
petophiles.
Petophiles.
Avid petophiles. The thing, what stands out to me is like whenever they get on that thing where they're like, man, I just prefer, I get along with animals better than I get along with people. It's like, oh, that's because you function better in relationships that are unconditional. When people hold you accountable for being a piece of shit, your dog doesn't. You come home, your dog loves you regardless. When you're a dick to your friend, they call you out on it. So yeah, I would imagine that if you're not that great of a person, you get along with things that don't call you out for being a shitty person. It's like, sorry,
It's
I
like
like
cheating.
dogs, but I like people more.
My
And
dad
if I had
was
to,
also
if
a
I had to
dog
pick,
hoarder.
yeah,
Same. Yeah.
Like fucking racist dog hoarder. I mean, yeah, no, it's just it's a control thing.
Yeah.
because you can completely control the dog. If it's being a dick to you, you just put it outside.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that to your friends.
You
You do
can't.
that to your friends, they're like, what?
yeah.
It's also false fulfillment because if I started feeding your dog, eventually he's gonna come with me.
Yeah, so you're like,
And now
"Hey,
he's
dog."
my dog.
Yeah, now he's
you
my
know what I
dog.
mean? It doesn't really love you. It doesn't know you had a bad day. And it's like, hey, you're that person that fucking gives me food, and you're here. So what's
I
up?
don't know. I want to be one of those people that's like animals have souls, animals can love you.
After
I just
you have
don't
children,
think
it's
so.
hard. After you've had
Yeah.
carried life inside of you, you're just like, okay, I love this animal, but I would like fucking murder it. to
Right?
keep
Like,
making
I
it
love
live.
my cat. I've had him for 15 years. I've had my cat longer than any relationship I've had in my
Aw.
entire life, including mine with my parents. Like, straight up, I've had my cat forever. But, like, I don't know. He's gonna die soon, and I'm probably gonna be okay with that because he's a cat. But, like, I could never have that mentality with my kids. And when people are like, this is my baby, I'm like, girl, I was in 27 hours of labor with my first son. You went to the pound.
Right.
Like, I mean, good for you. You saved a dog, but like now it's peeing in your house and you smell bad. So how do you feel? Is it worth it? Is it worth the $40 of dog food? Is it worth the vet bills? My mom, okay. My parents rescue Rottweilers, my mom and her wife, and they have this dog that they've raised since he was like literally like eyes closed. He's like 12 now. He's got like white splotches all over him, tumors everywhere. He was just like getting like x-rays for cancer and everything. He's like in and out of the vet every week. I'm like ranking up thousands of dollars of vet bills and I'm like, y'all put him down.
Yeah.
She's posting pictures of him on Facebook. He looks fucking miserable. I'm like, put him down. And it's like these dog people, like, it's like, you don't love that dog. He's he has cancer. His body is trying to die. He's trying to escape and you won't let him. Like, that's not love. That's just you being scared that something isn't gonna pay attention to you anymore. Like, let's be honest about that.
No, it hits close to home because my family's the same way. They will neglect their own health, but they'll spend like $5,000 fucking dollars on a 16-year-old Jack Russell.
Literally. Okay, and like my parents rescued this fucking dog and she died at like 8 years old, which is pretty young for a dog because she was so fucked up. But like, she was so aggressive and so hostile, she had to be on dog Xanax. And if people came over to the house, they would drug her up, put her upstairs in a pen, and you would just hear her just like yowling and like growling and just being the most aggressive. And it was like, she's not having a good time. Her existence sucks. She was aggressive to everybody. She would rip your face off if you walked into the room because she was just scared all the time. It's like, you don't love that dog.
Yeah.
Like, you're just keeping it alive because you think like it loves you. And it's like, no, this dog's miserable and your life is miserable. You can't even go on a walk. And like, that's like a big thing with dogs.
Yeah,
You gotta take them on walks.
One of the big
You
things
can't even
is
do
walks.
that.
Big,
This
big
dog
in the
sucks.
dog,
One of
dog
their
thing.
favorites.
One of their favorite things is walk.
that's
Do you have any pets? I imagine you got it.
Yeah, a ton of them.
Oh, no.
Of course not. Not a goldfish in sight.
I mean, I got a
Nothing.
fish. Actually, I don't have a fish anymore. It died. Guess what? I didn't post about it on Facebook.
I'm very down the middle with pets. So I grew up with them. We had the fucking zoo, cats, dogs, reptiles,
Really, you had
hamsters, all
the
of it.
mixed family. Yeah.
And as I got older, it just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like if I get off work Friday and I'm like, I want to go to this fucking random place, I just want to go.
Yeah.
And if I had some adorable dog at
Yeah.
home, I couldn't do that. But I understand women have an attachment to animals.
They do.
So it is realistic to compromise.
Mm.
So if I like met a lady who was like, I have this dog, but she didn't like put sweaters on it,
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Like as long as you're social. I made the mistake in high school probably because I looked the way I look at the time and listened to Marilyn Manson. You can imagine the women I dated. And all they wanted to do was like, I'm sitting here with my snakes.
Oh,
It's like,
yeah.
dude, it's going to be a really good party. And they're like, I fucking hate people.
I would imagine.
And I was like, oh, that's cute. But they were serious. And as I got older, I learned I can't.
Listening to Marilyn Manson probably does lead you to a lot of reptile people. I would imagine.
Sure.
Or tarantula
For
people,
sure.
mayhaps.
I've never. That's one thing. It's like I think a reptile is cool. I think when somebody owns a lizard,
What about the reptilians?
or like a
InfoWarlocks.
cricket or something, I'm like, oh, cool, you own a bug. That's
I had
awesome.
Like, if I saw that in the parking lot, I'd scream.
Yeah,
Like,
anything
get it
that I
off
can
me.
find in my house and reasonably kill is not a pet.
I had two little sisters.
rat? No.
I still have them, but we don't all live in the same place anymore. But that was like the easiest way to like not have them in my room.
I adopt pet rocks that were thrown at Muslim girls trying to get an education.
Oh, yeah.
As you do.
A rescue stone.
Yeah. I think we should get to the tarot portion.
Oh, yeah.
Or the
totally.
Torah.
And
I mean, let's,
Torah.
we're
Well, it
talking about all
actually is
kinds of
rooted in
stuff.
that.
By the way, guys,
And then
Jewish
maybe,
night
like-
coming up at Towson Commons this weekend.
Hell yeah.
Price movies. For everyone.
Jewish comics will be so happy that I'm finally converting.
Yeah, and
tough.
then we'll probably close out the show. But it's been awesome.
Let's do
yeah,
some
yeah.
tarots, baby.
Did you want one, Chris? I know Natalie's totally down, but
Yeah, sure.
does a particular deck draw you that falls? The goddess deck, the angel deck. The
Is there
the
a
witch's
deck?
oracle.
Is there a deck in the giant box?
Yeah, that's
then
my
that one.
goddess deck.
Then
Yeah.
that one.
Let's get the goddess deck on.
Number
Yeah.
3, please.
Okay, the divine feminine will be unleashed within you.
It makes sense. All week I've been saying, if only I liked dicks, I would totally be a gay person. Everything else about me is super gay.
Of course, as soon as you talk about the divine feminine, then automatically make it about dick still.
Wow.
Well, I certainly don't feel like a lady. I know that part. But I like all the things ladies like. And when men do and say things, I usually go, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, I do like the idea of ladyhood sometimes. It seems nice.
Ladyhood.
Well, yeah,
Ladyhood.
we'll explore this, but that's the importance of finding your inner animus or your inner anima, your inner male or female, and I feel like that is what is missing within us a lot. But yeah,
It's about not picking a side. It's about picking you.
Yeah.
I own
works with
heels
you.
and have a beard.
I've
Exactly.
imagined
And
myself.
both things make you incredible.
I've imagined myself like I was like, what if I was the exact same person, but I was a woman, and it doesn't like I guess
you'd
it just
hate your
doesn't
life.
yeah it doesn't add up to me. So like I kind of was like, oh, I think I'm definitely like a dude.
I think I'd be a douchebag if I was a guy. 100%.
With
I
the
would be
same
like,
energy.
I'd be like a lacrosse playing, weed smoking, cokehead douchebag. 100%.
Yeah.
Like I think that's
No
just what
offense,
my
but yeah.
no 100%. That's exact. And it's like, oh no, thank God I was born as a nice little lady. Like, I'm just literally I'm like, hey, let's party, let's hang out. Like I'm glad I wasn't born with that masculine energy. My feminine energy is.
I almost feel like I would have been like a pick me girl. I don't know what I would have been. I feel like I would have been something like not.
I play the. You would have been like, I play the bass, not the guitar.
Yeah.
It's different actually. It's closer to like a cello. So
Hello, you've got a bass.
and in cello.
you trying to cello with this? But like, yeah, no, I can see that. Like pretentious band girl.
Yeah.
That would have been fun for your no.
No, I don't think so.
I'm glad.
I think the whole garage setup wouldn't have quite lined up with the way it does. Like this exact setup, I just feel like it'd be slightly stranger if I was a chick.
If I
Like
was
the
a
no
chick-
bathroom, it's like, where do you piss? I'm like, oh, I just squat out back.
I would straight up do that right now. I don't even care.
Right,
It's
right.
fine. It is what it is.
If I was a chick, and I say this not being a chick, but I think I would just be like an Eileen Warnos. I would just fucking even the playing field some.
You know,
I always wanted to do a "Come On Eileen" song as Eileen Warnos.
You know what? I don't even think she technically counts as a serial killer because she killed so many different people.
She was
and they
an
were-
angel of vengeance.
But at the same time, they were douchebags. They were Johns, and like I
that's
don't
what-
blame her.
I
don't
wouldn't
blame
go
her
after
at all.
them. I wouldn't put that much effort to like, hey fellas,
Yeah,
like
let the
trick 'em.
victims come
Yeah.
to you.
But yeah, I think I would use my how dumb guys are and the fact that I have a vagina,
Yeah.
and I'd fucking take a bunch out.
So you'd be like a human praying mantis, basically.
Kind
You
of.
would fuck
yeah,
dudes and then
yeah.
eat
Women
'em,
would have
kill 'em.
ran shit hundreds of years ago if you guys didn't like eat your own.
Yeah,
You guys
I'm
do. You
kinda
don't.
with-
You
well,
don't.
I've eaten my own a couple times, but you know.
I'm with you on that, brother.
But if I were a dude, I would totally be like a school shooter, like neckbeard. Like,
No offense, but I also agree with that. I think something about the extra X chromosome just tones you down to like interesting girl. But I think interesting girl with a Y chromosome is
okay, I prefer
murderous
interesting,
man.
Yeah.
Murderous man.
Dude, if you were a guy my size, I don't know if I'd give you all those rights.
Okay, let's get the reading. Do you have a
Yeah.
particular question in general? Do you have a particular question?
Say it out loud or say it in my brain.
No, say it out loud. I'm not that type of person where I'm like, I can read your mind. And written in the universe. Like,
Okay. Are any of my nieces and nephews gonna die soon?
what the fuck?
It's a numbers game. It's a question.
There are 14.
Yeah.
So.
that's
No.
correct. Okay. I mean, I
I'm
don't.
like, no, I can't. I can't.
Okay, I'll do
Yeah,
a
I'm
different
sorry,
question.
Like, I don't mean
do
it
a
yet.
different question.
I can't. I'm sorry. Like, I don't do medical questions or like,
That
especially
was-
about kids because they're all pretty young, right? I mean, statistically speaking, yes, they probably will because of school shootings.
I got
but-
a good normal one.
Yeah.
I got a good normal one. Will I ever actually want to like own a house or property?
Okay,
Will that
okay.
need
That's
Want
ever come
to
up?
own. Not even necessarily own, just want to own.
Correct. Yeah.
Wow.
As I get older, it's one of the last things adults yell at me about. And I'm like, no, I'm not sold on the idea.
That's a good question. I like that. Sorry, I keep fucking with this. By the way, guys, I this is supposed
that
to be
a
a Santa
cigarette
cigarette
dispenser?
dispenser. Just come out like his dick.
Penis.
The drummer who you met earlier, the drummer in my band, he got this for me for Christmas, and it, you know,
What a
No,
sweetheart.
that's awesome.
You gotta like.
I'm gonna
the
break
booger
it.
go
I'm gonna
away.
break
Do you
it.
want-
This
Let
is.
me. Let me.
See, I told you. I didn't even mean
You
to do
did
it.
break it. Now I want.
I didn't even mean to
stressing me
break
out.
it. But on the bright side, I got a cigarette. So, you know what? You got to learn to look at the silver linings of situations. I broke his toy, but I know he didn't spend that much fucking money on it.
Yeah, because it broke that easily.
Okay, so I'll be honest with you. I'd forgotten my book, and I'm not that familiar with the goddess Green Terra, but Green Terra represents salvation.
Salvation.
Follow my gut. That's what I thought.
Well, wait, there's more. And then you pulled White Buffalo Calf Woman.
Ooh.
Maybe you're going to find a woman with thick calves. A white woman with thick calves.
Like thick calves.
And it means reverence. And then you pulled the Morrigan card, which means death and magic.
Morrigan or Morgan?
Morrigan. Yeah, and actually, she's one of my personal deities.
Like
that I've been working with
Oregon
lately.
with an M.
With an M, yeah.
Morrigan. The
yeah.
Morgan Trail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the more yeah, she's the Celtic goddess of death and rebirth, and I love her a lot because she represents war and poetry, which I think is kind of cool. Like,
What was the second one again?
the second one is the White Buffalo Calf Woman, and it means reverence. So
Reference. And what was the first one?
and the first one was salvation.
Salvation.
I think that I'm not trying, but you're probably going to have that extra push through meeting someone in order to actually revere your home
Yes.
and to actually make it a home for you.
Yeah.
Follow my fucking gut. So what I didn't want to say out loud, the reason I struggle with home ownership is because my whole life I was like, I can't wait to do that with a woman that I love. We're going to create a life, and that's where we die. I don't look at buying a house as like, I'm going to flip it.
Yeah.
Like I wanted, it was very romanticized for me.
Yeah, you look at
And
a house
as
as a home.
And as I got older and I found happiness in being single and embraced lonely not as a negative, I was like, well, why the fuck would I want, what am I going to do with 3 bedrooms? It's just me. So
And I'm not trying to look at like this and
That's
like put my
exciting.
white woman spit on it, but the White
Do it.
Buffalo Calf Woman is an indigenous person, and I believe because their homeland was stolen, this is sort of a representation that the home is always within here.
All right.
It's
So
not
here's
through
what
your
I'm getting.
physical
What was the
space.
first card again?
Green Terra, which is salvation, and again, I'm not too familiar with that goddess, but I think
Okay.
she's sort of in the Buddhist or Eastern philosophy tradition.
and salvation reference to a home. What
I
mean?
think
Somewhere
you're going
you
to
feel
be.
safe,
I
like,
think
that makes sense.
the salvation comes in where I think you're going to meet a nice, big calved indigenous woman, and I think you're going to fall in love and you're going to move in with her because
But-
she's going to own a home.
yes.
Find a homeowner.
She's going to own a home, and you're
big
going to move.
homeowner in
You're gonna move in with her.
That would
Fucker.
make way more
Big
sense.
Mama's house, baby. You know what I'm talking about?
You are gonna get a sugar mama.
And what was the last
no.
one?
And the last one is death and magic, and it means that I know you're like content in your individuality and your bachelorhood, but some part of you is eventually you're going to have to kill some part of yourself in order to achieve this and evolve to the next level. But
It's going to be peace and quiet.
but it'll be it'll be sacrificial, and it'll be like it's like an offering to this person.
You're gonna have to let go of the idea that you're gonna meet a woman and buy a house together and make this home together, and instead you're gonna be living in this woman's home, and then you're gonna be like, actually, this is my home, baby.
Or death and magic. Maybe she's gonna die.
Well, that was the other way I was gonna go. Maybe either I was either thinking the relationship would die, and then she kicks you out of the house, and then you're like, wow, I really want a home again.
Right.
And you'll want a home for real.
It would make sense that she fucking dies. Like after everything, finally, you meet a lady, then I get the house, and I'm like, I told you, all you fucking
inherit
adults,
it.
I did it my way.
did
then
it.
she's like dead in 2 months.
Yeah.
And I'm like, son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch.
Now I got the 3 rooms.
Lisa got this house, so mortgage is
What am
paid off
Well, and
by the Cherokee Nation.
I gotta fix the roof when it, fucking leaks.
Living in
It's
a
too
goddamn
much.
casino. God damn.
And just the Ravens, but it could indicate it's
Go Ravens.
somebody in Baltimore. Yeah, Baltimore region. And then numbers to look out for are 17, 50, and 37. Yeah, I don't think you're going to be dating a 17-year-old. I don't think you're going to be
No.
dating a 50-year-old.
You'll probably
maybe
will date a
37.
37-year-old.
Maybe it's like, yeah, I don't know. But
I mean, I'm a lot to deal with. This is a very chilled out environment, but I'm a lot to deal with on the regular.
do you want me to pull like one more card to tie this all together? Or?
That's why I think. it's
Yeah,
gonna
I
be a
mean, you're
37-year-old.
the reader, dude.
Yeah,
Do it how you
37.
wanna
Maybe
do
she
it.
sucked 37 dicks like in
I think-
Clerks. Or
Excited.
37
I think it's gonna be a
dicks on
woman-
the way to the parking
It
lot.
could be a woman who hasn't had any kids yet, who's 37, and it's like, I really want kids, and I'm gonna
no,
put up
no.
with this guy.
Don't come
I
this-
want
Oh,
7
that
kids
seed.
in 50 minutes.
instead of the children, she just dates me. Is
Yeah.
that- yes. That would work out
That's
well. That's a happy medium.
divine.
and Ellen is.
Speaking
is
of happy
Paris.
mediums, we have Sam Kelly over here. Wow,
What do you mean?
like a medium, like a medium.
I'm a co-medium. Haha. Banachan.
Did you
That
just
would be
say
a good
Paris?
Would that not be a good podcast name?
The comedians.
The
yeah.
happy or the co-mediums
yeah.
or the happy medium.
Oh, the happy medium. Yeah, I mean, totally. If Alex Jones sues us, then totally, I'll just change it to happy medium. Yeah.
He ain't suing you.
If he sues us, can I just go to our court stuff in like Legally Blonde pink and just be super
Fuck yes.
obnoxious to him and
Yes.
be like, I don't understand Bitcoin and just make him lose his fucking mind.
And he's like, please come on infoWarlocks. I got super male vitality.
This is what's wrong with you.
CoQ10 and the super male vitality.
Gen Z has all this fake money and they don't even know what to do with it. Like it's just like, you're right.
Oh my God, Ellen Patterns is a redhead. You tend to go after redheaded women.
I
From
have
what
a
you told me.
thing for redheads with a set of legs and daddy issues.
Yeah, it could be a red-haired woman in your future.
Well, that's not going to be
Patterns.
good. So no, I think this was exactly right. I think I find a woman. I'm like, hey, this romantic thing. Let's buy a house. She's like, let's do it. We do it. I say I won. She drops fucking dead.
Boom.
That's what's gonna happen.
Now you got a house, baby.
And of course, the cops are gonna be like, "Oh, you fucking killed her, didn't you?" I'm like, "You don't understand my luck."
They're gonna listen to this podcast and be like,
Yes.
"That was premeditated." Yeah, he described the
It was
entire thing.
cosmically premeditated.
And I'll argue the same podcast, like, "Dude, no, I'm telling you right there, like, it's gonna be bad luck."
You're like, play the next part, and they just play this part. Where you're like, no, it was.
You're gonna
Yeah,
go
these
live
are
it-
my lawyers, Jimmy Solesky.
You're like,
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury,
Natalie Moon.
I do declare.
you're gonna go live in jail now.
Are we gonna go full To Kill a Mockingbird with
I'm going foghorn, leghorn on your ass, dog.
I say,
I say, not guilty.
Okay, and the final card is the compassion card, and it's represented by
Aw.
Kuan Yin and compassion. And maybe you'll find the yin to your yang, but it might be more compassion than passion. To come, but
Yeah, like, I mean, you feel like you're a lot, but you won't be to this person.
yeah.
And that's where the compassion will come from.
That's true.
Yeah, and then it's number 26. You might actually find a younger lady, maybe. Yeah.
On the bright side, hopefully she'll be 26.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Downside, she might be 50.
Yeah. On the downside, she might also be 26.
I think I might be too shallow for either of those. directions.
Really?
What about the 7 in a few years?
7 is the lucky number of 23, by the way. I looked up the numerology. The
Look,
life
I had
pattern,
37
yeah.
out of 26. I averaged out. I did a 7-year-old. Your Honor.
But I
Not
waited.
guilty.
I waited 11 years to date that 7-year-old.
That's what
International
Jacob did.
vampire.
I imprinted on her. I could not help it.
Now, I do think ultimately I couldn't ever pick a number or like a range, but it would be a younger person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Older women are like, dude, get your shit together.
Men
Go buy
need-
a house. I'm like, for what? For the
Men need
status
to
of it?
date younger, and I think
Need to.
InfoWarlocks 2023 men need to date younger. It's
I think it's true because I think women obviously I think obviously women mature faster, and I think that like whatever stage I'm at in life, there's a girl who's like 2 to 3 younger than me that's on that same pace.
Yeah.
A girl that's 2 to 3 years older than me is like, dude, you are not. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I just that's the way I feel. I don't know.
Well, if
I'm
they're
in-
not like caught up in the bullshit of the rat race, then
That's true too. So I either need to find a loser or a girl who's younger than me, or both.
Yeah.
ideally.
I'm an immortal divine being, so let my age is just a number because I don't even love myself. So I gotta fucking manifest that in my reality.
Yes.
Yes, queen. Okay, that was it. Okay.
but that was eerily accurate.
Yeah.
Was? Oh, okay. Cool.
Tarots always are, baby.
Yeah, I
Well, the
didn't know.
idea of the house, the fucking redhead card at the end, get it?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But I think the secret is, the home is always within the relationship rather than the physical structure. And but yeah.
Wherever I'm at, that's the place to be.
Yeah.
Boom.
Did you
Well,
have
thank
a
you.
question or anything before?
I think I've asked every question.
Yes.
Just every question.
I was actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to New York for the first time
Fuck yes.
in like 10 days. Oh God. Oh
The
no.
Big Apple.
All right. I just want to know how that's going to go for me.
Yes.
I'm ready.
yes.
I have questions. I'm excited.
Oh my God, New York is fucking
I'm looking forward to it. I'm going in for a concert. It'll be fun.
Yes, like and oh yeah, you don't want to say, but are you?
I mean, I can say it,
Yeah.
but it is what it is. Ask away.
Yeah.
I'll answer.
And you said that you are Pisces. Sun,
I am a
right?
Pisces.
Oh yeah, I forgot to look at the astrological correspondences for you. And again, I'm a horrible shuffler, but it's like I feel like I'm just
You're just shuffling how
I'm
you
just, like,
feel.
wired,
That's
yeah.
how it works. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, what
don't
will
need
happen to Natalie's trip? The Big Apple.
So excited.
Queen of Fire, confident, warm, intelligent, graceful. Stretch your wings and fly. Don't underestimate yourself.
Okay.
Assert your independence and creativity. So yeah, this is an amazing card for for going and for traveling and for going to like a new place, like especially New York. Like
That's amazing. Okay, that's exciting.
and your moon sign is Leo moon. So yeah, that's totally Queen of Fire. Like absolutely. Yeah.
That's so exciting. Okay.
And it shows like a woman, like sitting like on her like throne. So like you will automatically feel like you belong there.
Oh, that's exciting. Oh, that's so exciting. Oh my God.
Yeah, like and like that's what like a true like Leo energy is. What I noticed like about people with Leo placements, like including me, is that you can be born in like a fucking trailer park, but you know that you come from the royalty of the kingdom of the stars above.
Yeah.
And Leo people like are very like, even though that they see themselves as like sort of the orbit or whatever, like they will treat other people like royalty too. Then because that's why people like are kind of like intimidated by people with Leo placements.
It's like the we was Kangs of astrology.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Fuck it up. All right. I love it.
Do you have like another specific question about New York, or should I just keep?
New York.
I just want to. I'm just curious about what the cards will tell me.
Yeah.
I feel
The
like
cards.
they'll tell me what I need to know.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I don't mean to like.
No, you're good. You're good.
So what was the final? What was the question? Are you moving to New York?
No, I'm going to New York on the 24th, and I just want to know how it's gonna go. Yes, please.
Everybody else? Little Evan Williams, the number one bourbon of all time.
Hell yeah. And so I pulled the Hermit card, which is Archangel Raziel, but it means spending time in meditation, spiritual teaching, self-discovery. I don't necessarily think that this means that you're going to be alone. I just think it means like part of you is going to discover something about like yourself there. Yeah.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
That
Saying a
sounds
little
like
Evie
a very
Willy.
New York
Yeah.
thing.
Right.
New
Discovering
York.
yourself. Oh, God.
Sorry, I pulled my board way too much. I'm feeling the spirits.
It's all right. You feel the spirits, baby.
Hell yeah. And 4 of water, which means open your eyes to the possibilities.
You're right, man. If I didn't already pour this Evan Williams, I would have hit you up for a little
What
something better.
Any?
Yeah, let me do a shot of this real quick, and I'll let me do that right
Yeah.
now. I got nothing going on. I'm a
Possibilities.
fucking loser.
That's so crazy. I love that because it's just New York is just filled with that, like opportunities, positivity. It's just I'm so excited. It's such a good creative space. I'm actually I'm doing a photo shoot for a New York comic next weekend.
Awesome. Hell yeah.
Like literally right before I go up there. And it's crazy because it's just like out of the blue, like one of my photographer friends was like, "Hey, I'm doing like a photography shoot for this comic. Will you do it?" And I was like, I've never modeled anything before.
That is
but all
badass.
right, let's go.
Yes. And see, that's the thing that I'm trying to learn about divine feminine energy is you have to open yourself into the receiving mode. And it's not necessarily meaning submissive. It means like I'm open to receiving gifts from the universe. Like I don't have to be active. Like things can just come to me just from the energy that I'm putting out there.
And I think a lot of that, like women feel guilty about it. Like I feel like a lot of times I am treated specially, and people act like I should be against that. And I'm like, I'm not asking for it. I'm just accepting it, and I'm grateful for it. Like when guys hold the door open for me, free drinks, anything like that, I'm like, this is amazing. This is awesome. But then like you're also kind of told that you're not supposed to accept that. You're not supposed to accept male attention. You're not supposed to accept like, people treating you any kind of different way because of, you being a woman or you being an attractive woman. And it's like, I don't know. I'm not being a dick about it. Exactly. It's just like, go away.
Yeah. It's just like, fine. That's awesome that like it is. And it truly is the law of attraction. And I hate to say it, but I guess the more the attractive that you are physically, inwardly, just the more you're manifesting positive energy toward yourself, the better that things will, orbit around you. Wait.
Well, that makes the 2 workouts a
So
day
the final verdict of the divine feminines is that
Natalie's gonna have a great time in New York.
is that we're just out here accepting drinks.
Yes.
Is that the final
roofie
verdict?
ones, not roofie. Well,
Oh,
again,
man.
it's free drugs. But.
Oh no, did you hear about that at Nottingham's? Whenever I hosted at Nottingham's, and some dude bought me a Bud Light, and like 20 seconds later security comes like running in, and they like tackle him and like throw him out the doors, and they're like, yeah, our bartender watched him roofie that drink or like drop a drug in that drink. And I was like, what? It would have been fine. I was hosting the show, so if I would have like fucking collapsed on stage or something, like they would have been like, oh, well, let's just take Natalie home. Nothing was gonna happen to me, so like I feel like I'm like pretty light about it, but like at the end of the day,
Holy
it's fucking
shit.
scary. But yeah, no, a Bud Light, that has to have been the most expensive Bud Light that man's ever bought. Like like roofies, I have no idea how much that even costs, but like
That's
a 30 milligram Adderall is $20.
That's
So
at
like
least-
something that knocks somebody on their ass like that's gotta be like what? $40,
That's
$50?
at least a Bud Platinum.
Yeah.
I mean, that is up there.
He didn't even give me the light
Oh,
calorie one.
That's
So
9%
rude.
ABV, no doubt.
I've just been losing it.
I had an experience recently at a bar where I was buying a drink for a girl and her friend. And we had just met. It was nothing serious. It was just a polite, I get you drinks.
Cool.
One girl asked for water. As I gave them both their drinks, the girl I gave the water to, like, sniffed it. And my initial reaction as a dude that I kept, like, internalized was, like, who the fuck do you think I am?
Yeah, you think I'm a guy that has scented roofies?
But then the guy who ate 1 million mushrooms was like, dude, the world is very different for women.
Yeah.
Like, I would never take a drink in public and be like, oh, you trying to fucking rape me? Like, never.
Yeah.
That's never once happened. I've never walked to my car at night like, oh, fuck.
It is a very unique thing as a person who has once thought about being a woman.
You
but
have.
never been a woman. like sometimes I'll be like walking down, I grew up in Towson, so like when I was younger I would just be out at the Towson bars and shit like that.
He was out in the streets.
I was out in the
He was
streets.
in the trenches.
The streets of Towson. Streets of Towson. Hustling.
It's just you and Alex Gascard
Yeah.
pinching pennies.
Me and fucking York Road, baby. Just that's all I know, baby. That's all I know. So I'm out there and like I'm walking back to my car and there was this girl like kind of like a block ahead of me at the point. But I'm a fast walker. I walk fucking fast. Like
Most
if I'm
whites do.
going, yeah, trust me.
It's the treadmill act.
Go to the grocery store and check out the different
I'm getting shut
ethnicities and
down.
who's doing what.
Yeah. I don't mosey, as they say. I don't mosey. I'm walking, baby. I'm walking here. So I noticed that she's like kind of picking up. I was, in my mind, I was like, also in my mind, I'm going on my way to prove that I'm not a rapist. So I'm like doing cool, chill, casual things that a rapist wouldn't do. Like I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna fucking, like what would a guy who's not about to rape this girl do? Like maybe I'll pull up my phone and just do like, but like I was kind of thinking, I was like in the same way that you were looking at like the way that she was like sniffing the drink, and it is kind of like as a guy who's not that type of guy, it's like, what are you trying to say? You trying to say that you think that I'm a rapist? Like, what are you trying to say? But at the same time, it's like you kind of have to respect the fact that it's like that is the demeanor that women kind of have to live with at all times.
For sure.
So it's like to her, I'm just a dude walking behind her. She doesn't know that I have a garage full of liquor. She doesn't know that I have a kerosene heater. She doesn't know all the great, wonderful things about me. That she's like, oh, let me slow down. Let me let this man catch up. I didn't
just walk
realize you
super
had
fast.
4 microphones.
I walk super fast because it's still like urban youths will like come up behind me out of nowhere and go like and try to scare me like on purpose. Like I still get
Urban. Those are my
still get
two.
bullied.
Not the
like,
urban youth.
Yeah, and
The
Hamden
urban youth.
and on light rail. Like I walk fast because I get bullied constantly.
Wow, dude.
People just like just sneak up on me and like
I feel like I
just
walk
say black
around just
people.
with
You're
this
saying you're talking about the
energy.
NBA, right? You're talking about the NBA.
It's fine. Urban youth sounds weirder.
Urban
somehow.
youth is funny. those are my
sounds
two
weirder.
favorite. Those are my 2 favorite code words for it too. Urban is obvious that at this point, but the new one is young people, youth. That's the new one. It's like people like it just this past week at the Towson Mall, there was like a big kerfuffle going on, and I was like, what was going on at the mall? And he was like 200 like fucking like just young people. I was like, oh,
For real? Is that for real?
young people.
Is that
at
an
the mall?
embellished amount?
It was okay. So this
There
has
was
been
a
a
fight
thing.
of 200 people?
Okay, so I was to be fair, I was at Rec Room. And the night before I was driving home, I was playing like a little private event down in Severna Park. I was driving home. I got back into Towson around like 12:30, and I saw all these cop cars outside of Rec Room, what looked like to be Rec Room. And then the next day I was out drinking for the Ravens game. So I was like really wasted at Rec Room. And the owner, who's like Scott Recker, he's like really cool with my friend Alex. And so they were like trying to close down, and we were just both fucking wasted. He was like, "Look, I'm gonna give you guys a ride home." Cause he was just casual, just like, "Come on, get in the fucking car." And so he drives me back to my apartment. I was asking, I was like, "So what was going on with all the fucking police cars and blah, blah, blah." And that's when he told me, like, at the mall, this has been a thing. Cause I live next door to the mall. And for the past 2 years in a row, there's been this thing where like everybody gets on social media, just like, yo, we're going to go to the mall and we're just going to fucking wild out. And then so for the past 2 years, just the Towson Mall is just fucking just overrun, just like people coming in still. It was insane. And it's like they coordinated on like Instagram or something. I don't fucking know. I don't know what the youths do.
I blame TikTok. I don't know. I don't have TikTok, but I blame
Yeah.
TikTok.
Yeah.
You live next to the
I live
Towson Mall?
next to the Towson
I
Mall.
used to work next to the Towson
worked
Mall. Is
in
that
the
the
Towson-
Towson Town Center?
Okay, so
Like-
the Towson Town Center is the mall. Yes.
I was at 801 Delaney. Maybe that's why
Yeah,
we
yeah.
look familiar. We had to have
Wait, where did you work in the Towson Mall?
a civil engineering firm, Bowler, not in the mall, across the street.
Dude, here's the thing.
Yes,
I've been thinking this since you showed up here.
sure.
I know you, but I can't figure out why.
What's
Did
the
you
name?
guys know each other from a past life?
What's
I
the
think-
name of your
Karmic
band?
connection?
Sophomore.
Hearts.
It's another. It's not a name you would know. We're not exactly like, oh, the Doors. The Doors.
It might
You ever heard
have.
of them?
I worked up there for a year, and I would go to the mall to get food, PF Chang's, all the little.
I used to work at
shops,
when I
get my
worked. I did work
vegetables.
at the mall, and I worked at Abercrombie and Fitch, unfortunately, for a year.
I worked at the Victoria's Secret at Towson Mall for
Nice.
a few months. Yeah.
How
The youth
often did creepy, like dangerous guys come in?
I worked
guys.
day
We're all
shift,
creepy.
so honestly, I would probably say maybe twice a day, or like
Once
Dude,
a
it's like
day.
only twice a day.
I would be in the front area by like the expensive lingerie, and that was like I was like usually like a greeter or something, and guys would stand outside of the stores and just stare in, and I would be like, "What's up?"
They want to be let in on that secret.
And then they
wanna
would
know
be
what's going
like,
on.
"What's up? Can I take you home?" I'm like, "What? Where do you think you are right now? This is the Towson Victoria's Secret, sir."
At
I
least,
just
at least it's more understandable now. There's like a bar in the mall, because now I feel like when I worked there, there was no like bar there was like Rainforest Cafe when I was a kid, but then like after that it was like the Cheesecake Factory and all that shit. But like now there's like the Brass Tap in the middle of the mall, so now I feel like I would be more understanding
Just
if like
get drunk
a
and
dude
go
was
to
standing
Victoria's
outside of
Secret
Hollister or
around.
something like that. Like, dude, that's
was-
so cow.
I feel like a creep going to Victoria's Secret because I just get like sports bras at Walmart.
Here's
my
the
favorite. I love Victoria's Secret.
Here's
Love it. I wear lingerie every single day though, because I'm a little bit paranoid about like what I'm going to be wearing in the afterlife.
Yeah.
That's some New Orleans shit 100%. Like I'm wearing bougie lingerie right now because I'm like, if I die in a car wreck,
I'm
not
gonna
gonna
be in sweatpants.
Yeah, I'm not going to be fucking caught dead in the afterlife
yeah.
in like
Think about
mismatched
that.
broadband.
That is so true.
No, like hold on, I'm gonna flash you.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is just what's gonna happen.
That's
Oh
an
damn,
interesting.
that's gorgeous.
If I die, I'm
Yes.
gonna be in this in a fuzzy sweater, and I'm like, I'm ready for this. I'm ready for this
You're
in my
ready
life.
to take. Well, I didn't want to say Satan, but
That is,
Jesus
But like,
D, like,
but my thing is, I'm like, if I die in a bad outfit and I'm stuck like that, I'm gonna be pissed in the afterlife, and that's not what I want to do.
so is that the belief that whatever you die in is what you?
Sometimes I don't know. That's what Ryan Murphy thinks. If you die is in your ghost outfit, that's why that Tate guy was in that fucking stripy sweater the whole fucking season.
Wow.
Like I don't know, maybe, but like I'm not risking it. That's like something where it's like, okay, if I can change my outfit in the afterlife, I'll change it. But like if I can't, I'm dying in something cute.
See, I guess
Yeah,
as a novice occultist, which I'm not really like big on. I mean, look, my favorite holiday is Halloween. I fucking love Halloween. I think it's the true hot take. I think it's the true American holiday because it's the only holiday that isn't really dragged down by all the politics of it. Like Thanksgiving is technically an American holiday. People in Britain don't celebrate it, but like people in Britain also don't celebrate brushing their teeth. So it's like whatever, dude. Like, whatever. So like you guys don't celebrate some things that are cool. And so like with Halloween, it's like it's a holiday where it's for friends, not family. It's for friends, not family.
about
Christmas
fun
is
and love.
Christmas, in my opinion, is the truest holiday. It is truly a holy day. You meet with your friends, you get together. I mean, not you meet with your family. You see people you haven't seen in a while, like when people come back into town. Thanksgiving's like that, but truly the best part of Thanksgiving is the night before. Like the Thanksgiving Eve when you go out to the bars and everybody's back in town, you see all your friends, and the next day you come hung over to your parents' dinner or whatever. You know what I mean?
I thought the best part of Thanksgiving was celebrating genocide.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I like that aspect too. But with Halloween, it's like it's this truly thing where everybody's like, dude, we're all gonna just dress like fucking assholes tonight, and we're all just gonna. So I like that occultist aspect of it. But
I like it because people just give you candy. Even as an adult, they're like, "You want a Snickers?" And I'm like,
yeah,
"Yes."
it's the only time in life
I
when somebody
do.
gives you a Snickers, you're like, wow,
Right?
thank
Like
you.
I was like walking to
I'm
the
not me when I'm hungry. Thank
on
you.
Halloween,
appreciate
I was
that.
walking to the port, and this guy just gave me candy, and I was like, "What a time to be alive! I love this." I wasn't even dressed up; he was just feeling the vibe, the
What a
Halloween
time to be alive!
vibe.
October. There's
But
only
like, if
one
I looked
October.
like you, I wouldn't trust random men giving me candy. I'm just saying, like the pretty.
I don't
privileged,
either, but
like-
I'm just like, if this is how I go, this is how I go. I'm going by the sweethearts.
But what you just described is honestly one of the best motivations, hashtag motivations, for dressing nicely on a daily basis. Because if I truly believed that I was going to, like, whatever I was wearing when I died, because that's like a weird thing with ghost movies. It's like, like okay, so like if I were to see like my grandfather's ghost, I'm imagining it would be like him as like an old guy. I'm not imagining me running into my grandfather as like a guy my age.
Yeah.
You know? So like with ghosts, it's like when you go in the movie, it's like some dude that's like half his head's blown off and he's like in a fucking World War I uniform. And you're like,
Yeah, because that's what he died in.
hey dude, for all the marbles, let me guess, you died in World War I. He's like,
What if
"You
social
got it."
justice warriors go? They're like their hands covered in
Yeah.
Cheetos and they're wearing like a Mario Kart shirt.
You died with
like,
green hair, bro. You died with green
No,
hair.
not the green hair.
I'm
Wow.
dyeing my hair
Wow.
green again. Fuck everyone.
Wow, you
As
really
soon as
fucked that
this
up,
court
huh?
case-
I guess there is a Sky Daddy bitch. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm gonna meet God and I'm gonna meet him in lingerie.
But like I gotta be honest, I was already planning on not dying tonight. But now I'm really like, dude, if I
Yeah.
die in sweats, I mean, come on, dude.
Oh no, I just changed your whole life. I'm so sorry.
Like, no, I met the ghost of Jimmy Solesky. He's kind of a loser, I think. I don't know. I got a vibe. He was kind of just like a fucking loser. I don't know what was going on with that. Not telling my grandkids shit. I'm talking to my grandkids. They're like, dude, what are you talking about? You look like you just quit pills.
It's been a really hard 14 days.
Well, I think this is a good place to maybe to end things, guys. But it's,
Hey, you know
been
what?
a blast.
Now that I'm officially blacked out drunk, yeah, let's end it, baby. Let's end it.
But yeah, this has been fucking amazing. I don't know. Does anybody know where we have a phrase or anything that we should end things on? A conspiracy theory? A prediction for the future?
One day vampires will get to have ghosts. when
It'll be
they
me.
eventually
I'm gonna
die.
be the vampire ghost.
Vampire ghosts.
No.
Interdimensional aliens. For real.
Yep. That's what we're gonna leave it at.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Don't even question it. Don't explain it. Nothing else.
For real.
Yeah. All right, guys. This has been infoWarlocks. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay charming, Charm City.